Hamza, where do you stand on this?
Moro, I've listened attentively to my brother, and I was happy when you attempted to refresh his memory, especially when it comes to the unfortunate way of conducting our politics as a republic, where we only seem to be interested in interpreting the rules and laws of our land when it appears to favor our political objectives. And when it seems to be doing the opposite, we suddenly remember that indeed there are laws and rules that we must all adhere to, regardless of our political persuasion. And in principle, and as a matter of professional courtesies, I don't think that I disagree with many of the legal analysis he made. Indeed, there's some measure of difference between stay of execution and injunctions. And so I have always been against those who claim, especially when it comes to constitutional bodies, that when a constitutional body or person mandated under a constitution to perform a certain rule is doing so, and you go to any of our courts seeking an injunction, the fact that you have presented an application for injunction in itself should not operate as a stay. You know, and I was happy when in the Vincent Asafua case, the justices made that distinction in terms of when it comes to his application of constitutional bodies, where it was clearly stated that an application would not operate as an injunctive relief or to prevent any state institution or a person mandated under our constitution to perform a certain rule from doing so. But you see, we are dealing with stay of execution. And it is law we cannot do politics with. I would be interested to have the Kpandai MP removed from the chamber of the House. But I also must be minded and guided by the 1992 Constitution and our court ethics and practices, and many other statutory obligations that we all must adhere to. And that is why I also, in all honesty, found the letter a bit strange. Because if you remember, when the High Court passed the judgment, and there were calls on Speaker Alban Bagwin to declare the seat vacant, he indicated in his ruling that references to CI 19, there was an automatic stay of 7 days, after which he would be able to proceed to declare the seat as being vacant. And so declined the invitation by the majority to declare the seat vacant in tandem with our laws and in sync with CI 19. Moro, so yesterday when I saw the clerk's letter, and if you look at CI 19, especially Rule 27.2, it is stated clearly that an application for a stay of execution ought to operate as a stay of what we call execution itself. And so you are more or less barred, and this is statutory. So you are more or less barred from proceeding to take action on it. I would have wanted the clerk to take a cue from the speaker and refrain from actually proceeding to declare the seat vacant. After all, 16th December is not far. Let us listen to the High Court today, tomorrow, in terms of the application for stay, and hopefully on the 16th of December, then a decision could have been taken by the Clerk of Parliament. But that is the beauty of the NDC politics. I could have sat on this table and attempt to justify the letter being written by the clerk declaring the seat vacant. And I think that is the ethics the NPP needs to get from the NDC. In all honesty, let us put our partisanship aside. But every step of the way, the NDC finds a way of demonstrating that when it comes to the laws of our country, we would privilege those laws over and beyond that of our parochial partisan interest. And that is why in the last 8 years, when references were made to the Jeju Kwesi matter, and the way the likes of Atufos and Honorable Dr. Now were treated, we cautioned that we all needed to be careful about the standards we were setting. My friend here was missing in the discourse. The NPP found absolutely nothing wrong with the high-handedness that was being exhibited in Parliament and even at the executive level. So when you set precedents that are dangerous, there's the tendency for state actors who are not political in nature, because the clerk is not political in nature, to be forgiven to conclude that since this is the precedence, let's go according to that precedence. And I've just given you an example that Speaker, whose leanings are known, resisted the temptation to declare the seat vacant, even when the majority side demanded so. Or some leading members from the majority demanded so. Right. So I agree with you that in terms of law, this is a bit problematic.
Yeah.
The declaration could have waited. But like you have also indicated, the gentleman is also covered. That is the clerk. Under Article 1125 of our Constitution. And so his declaration is also not unlawful. It's clearly within the law. And if you say that a subsequent decision by the High Court or the Supreme Court will ridicule his declaration, I don't think that I agree with that conclusion. If at the end of the day, the High Court is of the view that, look, I am granting the stay, it does not in any way ridicule his position. It is simple. Parliament will obey the law. And how will obeying the law constitute an act of ridicule? So I was struggling to understand that logic. Because the clerk is empowered under Article 1125 to do what he has done. Now, the High Court proceeds to say maybe that I am granting the stay. And by virtue of that decision, it nullifies the declaration by the clerk. Parliament would be enjoined under the laws to respect it. And if Parliament does so, it is not ridicule. Obedience to the law is not an act of ridicule.
But you also agree, and as you said in your initial comments, that it would have been tidier.
Yes. I am simply saying that. I am simply saying that in line with our democratic ethos and also court practices, one would have desired, especially also making references to CIA 19, Rule 27.2. Yes, it would have been nicer that perhaps the clerk decided maybe to pause a little.
After all, it's just tomorrow.
After all, it's just tomorrow. So, but we have one objective as a government and as a party. And I always make reference to that point, Boro. We went to the good people of this country with a promise to reset the country for the better. And so we will not sit on platforms of this nature and seek to pass excesses of state institutions when we can seize these platforms to prompt them to act in tandem with expected norms, and in most cases to our rules and regulations and laws. We will not behave like the New Patriotic Party. After all, the standards that they were setting, clearly the Ghanaian people demonstrated in the last election that they were not comfortable with those standards. And we indicated our willingness to depart from those standards. And so state institutions must begin to take a cue from us. There can be people who work within these institutions who can be forgiven to conclude that what was happening in the last 8 years would be allowed to happen under this regime. But that is not going to happen.
Okay.
And my brother should this morning be thanking God for the reset agenda. You see, we are not clashing. We are agreeing in principle. And that is what it should be. The NDC is convinced that if the seat is eventually declared vacant, or if they are being unsuccessful in their attempts to reverse the decision of the High Court, we will win the Kpandai seat.
I'm told you're already on the grounds.
Yeah, we are on the grounds. We will win the Kpandai seat. So we are not in a hurry, but we do not want to do so in a type of illegality.
Right.
We know the stock we are made up of. We know the character of our leader. And if you follow the politics of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, it should be clear to all of us that this is a gentleman who adheres to the laws of this country, no matter the cost.
Right.
Unlike what we experienced in the last 8 years. And so, my brother, Council, I can assure you that we will not encourage state institutions to attempt to do the things that you guys did in the last 8 years. We will do our best to truly deliver a republic that can work for all of us, irrespective of our political persuasions. And I can only hope and pray that many of you would find the courage to be part of that system and actually protect it for the benefit of not just us, but our kids as well.
Is it more?
The research agenda is on. He says the research agenda is on.
I wonder what is there to be researched in a way, because
he held a certain view in the past, and he's been consistent with those views. Isn't that a research?
Is it more? When it comes to positions,
compliment him small.
Oh no! I mean, I'm going to do that because you see, the truth is that principles are principles.
Yeah.
Principles have no colors. Principles are neither NDC colors or NPP colors. When we were even in power, there were people amongst and within our ranks who came out on numerous occasions to voice out certain things that they believed that it was not proper. Take things like betting tax, the debt exchange, issues of cathedral. There were times that we had even about 70 plus members of parliament of the NPP calling on the president for the removal of the finance minister. So it is not as if all of us or nobody ever came up to express a contrary opinion to the position that probably was an affront to government's position. So it is not new for an NDC person in the person of my friend here to adhere to legal principles. It does not make NDC a better party over NPP just because this is the truth and he's agreeing to it.
Okay.
It's been done in the past and it is nothing new.
Okay.
Moro.
Yeah.
You see?
I thought you said
you
I have the right of reply. It is only you see, it is that lack of appreciation and humility that continues to destroy the new patriotic party. And their oversimplification of things that they shouldn't simplify.
Right.
Look, Moro, when you made references to MPs calling on the finance minister to resign, it was intended to pursue the parochial objectives of the new patriotic party, which was to win power. That's why some of you came out.
God said that.
This was a chorus we sang for years. You didn't join until you could see the telling effects of his incompetence, recklessness, and the consequences it was going to have on you in that election that you began speaking out. So if you look at many of the things you spoke about, these were things that you felt would brighten your electoral successes or chances. I am talking here about a by-election that the NDC knows that it will win and can actually win. It should be in my interest for the seat to be declared quickly because it will inure to the benefit of the NDC. But I have weighed that partisan interest and I have tried to reflect the character of my leader today and President of the Republic of Ghana and to take a cue from him. And I have weighed that partisan interest that will serve the NDC's interest if it is declared, like the Clerk has done, as vacant. as against the national interest of conformity with our laws. And I still found the courage to indicate that this ought not to have happened.
Okay.
I sacrificed what we stand to gain as a party in pursuit of that larger objective. So don't tell me that your criticisms or your cause for Ken Ofreta to go was nationalistic in character. No, absolutely not. It was all intended to brighten your electoral chances. Okay. And that's why I'm saying that you must have the humility to accept that the discourse and our politics is changing ever since His Excellency President Mahama got into the reins of governance again. You cannot dispute that fact. You can't. That is a reality.
Okay.
He is changing the way politics should be done in this country.
Okay.
Unless, of course, you are proud about the legacy of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Am I not?
Are you?
Yes, I am.
My goodness.
Hamza, why shouldn't I be?
I am surprised because you see, I can give you a litany of examples of Nana Addo's tenure, how it strengthened institutional sovereignty and integrity.
No, you see, ma'am, is this
we'll have that time.